Welcome to your complete guide to O-Level History 2026. Whether you are revising for your exams or building your foundation for the year ahead, these 100 facts cover the most important knowledge you need to know. This guide covers both Paper 1 and Paper 2 of the syllabus, from European colonization in Southeast Asia through the World Wars, the Cold War, and decolonization. Every fact here has been carefully selected because it is likely to appear in your exams. You can listen to this while studying, use it for revision, or play it before sleep to reinforce your knowledge. There is no pressure to memorize everything in one go. Just let the information sink in. Let's begin with the most important 100 facts for your O-Level history examination. Fact 1. The Pankar Engagement of 1874 marked the beginning of British intervention in Malaya. It established the British residential system, where British residents would advise Malay sultans on all matters except Malay religion and custom, though this advice was effectively mandatory. Fact 2. The three main reasons for British intervention in Malaya were the desire to expand their empire and create spheres of influence, the need for raw materials like tin and rubber for British industries, and internal instability in Malay states, such as the Larat Wars in Perak. Fact 3. The Federated Malay States, formed in 1895, consisted of Perak, Selangor, Negeri Sembilan, and Pahang. They had centralized British administration under a resident general in Kuala Lumpur, giving Britain strong control. Fact 4. The unfederated Malay states were Kedah, Perlis, Kelantan, and Terengganu, acquired from Siam in 1909. These states retained more autonomy than the federated Malay states, with less direct British interference. Fact 5. British economic policies transformed Malaya into an export-oriented economy. By the early 1900s, Malaya was the world's largest producer of tin and rubber, making huge profits for British companies and investors. Fact 6. The tin and rubber industries created a plural society in Malaya. Chinese immigrants worked in tin mines, Indian laborers worked on rubber plantations, and Malays remained primarily in rural agriculture and fishing. This racial division would have lasting effects. Fact 7. Western-educated Malayan elites emerged from English schools established by the British. These English-educated lawyers, teachers, and civil servants would later form the leadership of independence movements. Fact 8. Local responses to British rule varied significantly. Some Malay rulers and elites collaborated with the British to maintain their privileges and wealth. Others resisted British attempts to change Malay customs and reduce traditional authority. Fact 9. James W. Birch, the first British resident of Perak, was assassinated in 1875 after trying to implement reforms that threatened Malay chiefs' power. His death led to British military intervention and tighter control. Fact 10. The British introduced indirect rule through the residential system, rather than direct colonial rule. This was cheaper and more efficient, as it used existing Malay authority structures, while British residents held real power. Fact 11. British rule brought infrastructure development, including railways, roads, and ports, primarily built to transport tin and rubber to coastal ports for export to Britain. Fact 12. The growth of towns and cities accelerated under British rule. Kuala Lumpur grew from a small tin mining settlement to the administrative capital of the Federated Malay States. Fact 13. The Colonial Office in London made major policy decisions for Malaya, while the Colonial Secretary in Singapore coordinated implementation. The sultans retained ceremonial roles but lost real power. Fact 14. Labor migration transformed Malaya's demographics. Chinese and Indian immigration was encouraged by the British to work in mines and plantations, because the British administration viewed them as more reliable labor sources than the indigenous Malays. Fact 15. By the 1920s, Malaya was Britain's most profitable Southeast Asian colony, producing wealth that supported British industry and empire. This economic success made Britain reluctant to grant independence later. Fact 16. The Treaty of Versailles in 1919 forced Germany to accept full responsibility for World War I through the War Guilt Clause, Article 231. This created deep resentment in Germany that Hitler would later exploit. Fact 17. Germany was forced to pay 132 billion gold marks in reparations to the Allied powers. This enormous sum crippled the German economy and caused severe hardship, fueling anger toward the Weimar government. Fact 18. The treaty demilitarized Germany. It limited the army to 100,000 volunteers, banned conscription, tanks, aircraft, and submarines, and demilitarized the Rhineland. Germany felt defenseless and humiliated Fact 19. Germany lost approximately 13% of its territory, including Alsace-Lorraine to France, the Polish corridor to Poland, and all overseas colonies. 7 million Germans found themselves living in other countries. Fact 20. The League of Nations was created in 1920 to maintain world peace through collective security and diplomacy. However, it was fatally weakened by the absence of the United States, which never joined despite President Wilson's advocacy. Fact 21. The League of Nations had some successes in the 1920s, settling minor disputes between smaller nations, but it lacked its own military force and depended entirely on member states to enforce its decisions. Fact 22. The principle of self-determination was applied inconsistently after World War I. New nations like Poland and Czechoslovakia were created from old empires, but Germans and other groups were denied self-determination in some regions. Fact 23. The Paris Peace Conference redrew the map of Europe, breaking up the Austro-Hungarian Empire, the Ottoman Empire, and reducing Germany. This created unstable new states and ethnic tensions that would cause future conflicts. Fact 24. The League structure had major flaws. Decisions required unanimous agreement, making action difficult. Major powers could veto actions, and there was no mechanism to force compliance. Fact 25. The harsh terms of Versailles, rather than creating lasting peace, planted seeds for World War II. Germans felt the treaty was unjust and longed for revenge, creating conditions Hitler would exploit. Fact 26. The Weimar Republic. Germany's democratic government after World War I faced enormous problems from its birth, association with the hated Treaty of Versailles, a weak constitution with proportional representation, leading to unstable coalition governments, and opposition from both communists and right-wing nationalists. Fact 27. Hyperinflation devastated Germany in 1923. The government printed money to pay reparations and striking workers, making the currency worthless. People needed wheelbarrows of cash to buy bread, and life savings became meaningless overnight. Fact 28. The Great Depression hit Germany harder than most countries. By 1932, unemployment reached 6 million people, which was 30% of the workforce. Middle-class families lost everything, creating desperate conditions. Fact 29. Adolf Hitler's appeal lay in his simple messages: blame the Treaty of Versailles for Germany's problems, blame weak democratic politicians for betraying Germany, blame communists for causing chaos, and blame Jews for economic problems. These scapegoats resonated with desperate Germans. Fact 30. The Nazi Party used sophisticated propaganda, under Joseph Goebbels. This included mass rallies with dramatic lighting and music, powerful posters, radio broadcasts, and films that portrayed Hitler as Germany's savior. Fact 31. The SA, or brown shirts, were Nazi paramilitary forces who used violence and intimidation against political opponents. They broke up meetings, beat up communists and socialists, and created an atmosphere of fear. Fact 32. Hitler became Chancellor legally in January 1933. The Nazis won the most seats in the Reichstag, and President Hindenburg appointed Hitler Chancellor, hoping to control him. This proved disastrous. Fact 33. The Reichstag fire in February 1933 gave Hitler his opportunity. He blamed communists for burning down the parliament building and issued emergency decrees suspending civil liberties and allowing the arrest of political opponents without trial. Fact 34. The enabling act of March 1933 was the death of German democracy. It gave Hitler power to pass laws without the Reichstag for 4 years. Hitler used intimidation and false promises to get the 2/3 majority needed. Fact 35. Hitler established a totalitarian one-party state by July 1933. All political parties except the Nazis were banned. Trade unions were abolished. Opposition leaders were arrested or fled into exile. Fact 36. The Night of the Long Knives in June 1934 saw Hitler eliminate the SA leadership, including Ernst Röhm, to consolidate power and gain army support. About 400 people were murdered over one weekend. Fact 37. When President Hindenburg died in August 1934, Hitler combined the positions of Chancellor and President, becoming Führer with absolute power. The army swore a personal oath of loyalty to Hitler, not to Germany. Fact 38. Nazi economic policies reduced unemployment dramatically through massive public works like the Autobahn highway system, rearmament programs, and compulsory labor service. Unemployment fell from 6 million to under 1 million by 1938. Fact 39. However, Nazi economic success came at a cost. The economy was increasingly geared toward war. Workers lost rights to strike or change jobs. Consumer goods were limited, and rearmament took priority over living standards. Fact 40. The Nuremberg Laws of 1935 stripped Jews of German citizenship and prohibited marriage between Jews and Aryans. This was just the beginning of systematic persecution that would lead to the Holocaust. Fact 41. Japan's democratic government in the 1920s was undermined by several factors: perceived corruption, the influence of big business zaibatsu over politicians, inability to solve economic problems, and weak civilian control over the military. Fact 42. The Great Depression devastated Japan's economy. Agricultural prices collapsed, silk exports plummeted, and unemployment soared. Peasants suffered terribly, with some families selling daughters into prostitution. Fact 43. Ultranationalist military officers believed Japan needed to expand to secure resources and markets. They saw parliamentary democracy as weak and Western influence as corrupting Japanese values. Fact 44. The Mukden Incident of 1931 was staged by Japanese military officers who blew up a section of Japanese-owned railway and blamed Chinese forces. This manufactured crisis justified Japan's invasion of Manchuria. Fact 45. Political assassinations eliminated moderate leaders. The murder of Prime Minister Inukai Tsuyoshi in 1932 by naval officers effectively ended civilian control of the Japanese government. Fact 46. By the mid-1930s, the military dominated Japan. They promoted extreme nationalism in schools, controlled labor unions, increased government control over industry, and prepared Japan for total war. Fact 47. The League of Nations failed to stop Japan's invasion of Manchuria. After a lengthy investigation, the League condemned Japan's actions. Japan responded by simply leaving the League in 1933 with no consequences. Fact 48. The Abyssinian crisis of 1935 to 1936 destroyed the League's credibility. When Italy invaded Ethiopia, the League imposed economic sanctions but excluded oil. Britain and France undermined sanctions to keep Italy as an ally. Ethiopia fell. Fact 49. These League failures showed dictators that aggression would go unpunished, encouraging Hitler, Mussolini, and Japanese militarists to pursue increasingly aggressive foreign policies. Fact 50. Hitler's foreign policy goals were clear: destroy the Treaty of Versailles, unite all German-speaking peoples in a Greater Germany, and gain Lebensraum, or living space, for Germans in Eastern Europe. Fact 51. The remilitarization of the Rhineland in March 1936 was Hitler's first major gamble. German troops marched into the demilitarized zone, in direct violation of Versailles. France and Britain did nothing, emboldening Hitler. Fact 52. The Anschluss with Austria in March 1938 united Austria and Germany. Hitler used threats and military intimidation to force Austrian leaders to accept union, bringing 7 million more Germans into the Reich. Fact 53. The Munich Agreement of September 1938 gave Hitler the Sudetenland, German-speaking regions of Czechoslovakia. British Prime Minister Chamberlain believed he had preserved peace. He was tragically wrong. Fact 54. Appeasement was the policy of giving in to reasonable demands to preserve peace. It was based on memories of World War I's horror, military unpreparedness, economic problems, and the belief that Versailles was too harsh on Germany. Fact 55. Appeasement failed catastrophically. It encouraged Hitler to make more demands, gave Germany time to rearm, destroyed the credibility of Britain and France, and made war more likely, not less. Fact 56. In March 1939, Hitler broke his Munich Agreement promises by invading the rest of Czechoslovakia. This proved his word was worthless, and that appeasement had failed. Britain and France began preparing for war. Fact 57. The Nazi-Soviet Non-Aggression Pact of August 1939 shocked the world. Hitler and Stalin, sworn enemies, agreed not to attack each other, and secretly divided Poland and Eastern Europe between them. Fact 58. The pact eliminated Hitler's fear of a two-front war. With the USSR neutral, Hitler could attack Poland without worrying about Soviet intervention. It made World War II inevitable. Fact 59. On September 1, 1939, Germany invaded Poland using blitzkrieg or lightning war tactics. Britain and France, having guaranteed Polish independence, declared war on Germany on September 3rd. World War II in Europe had begun. Fact 60. Japan's Greater East Asia Co-Prosperity Sphere was propaganda claiming to free Asia from Western colonialism. In reality, it meant Japanese economic and political domination of Asia. Fact 61. The Marco Polo Bridge incident of July 1937 led to full-scale war between Japan and China. Japanese forces captured Beijing, Shanghai, and Nanjing, where they committed the Nanjing Massacre, killing hundreds of thousands. Fact 62. US-Japan relations deteriorated as America condemned Japanese aggression and supported China. The US imposed increasing economic sanctions on Japan, including a devastating oil embargo in 1941. Fact 63. The oil embargo was critical because Japan imported 80% of its oil from America. Without oil, Japan's military would be paralyzed within months. This pushed Japan toward war to seize oil-rich Southeast Asia. Fact 64. On December 7, 1941, Japan launched a surprise attack on the U.S. Pacific Fleet at Pearl Harbor, Hawaii. The attack destroyed or damaged 18 warships and killed 2,400 Americans, but failed to destroy U.S. aircraft carriers. Fact 65. Pearl Harbor brought America into World War II. President Roosevelt called it a date which will live in infamy. Congress declared war on Japan the next day, and Germany declared war on America days later. Fact 66. American entry into the war provided the Allies with enormous economic and military advantages. The United States became the arsenal of democracy, producing vast quantities of weapons, vehicles, aircraft, and supplies. Fact 67. The Soviet Union bore the brunt of fighting Germany, with the Eastern Front accounting for roughly 80% of German casualties. Soviet determination and eventual counteroffensives were crucial to defeating Nazi Germany. Fact 68. D-Day, the Allied invasion of Normandy on June 6, 1944, opened a second front in Western Europe. Over 156,000 troops landed on French beaches, forcing Germany to fight on two fronts simultaneously. Fact 69. Germany suffered from Hitler's increasingly erratic leadership. He interfered constantly in military operations, refused to allow tactical retreats, and made disastrous strategic decisions, especially after 1943. Fact 70. Fighting on two fronts after D-Day was impossible for Germany to sustain. German forces were crushed between Soviet advances from the east and Allied advances from the west. Germany surrendered unconditionally on May 8, 1945. Fact 71. In the Pacific, the Allied strategy of island hopping bypassed heavily defended Japanese islands to capture strategic bases closer to Japan, cutting off Japanese garrisons from supplies and support. Fact 72. Japan's overextended empire became impossible to defend. Japanese forces were spread across thousands of miles, and American submarines devastated Japanese merchant shipping, cutting off access to resources. Fact 73. By 1945, Japan was in desperate straits. Cities were being firebombed. The Navy was destroyed, the economy had collapsed, and Japan lacked fuel for ships and aircraft. Yet the military government refused to surrender. Fact 74. The atomic bombs dropped on Hiroshima on August 6, and Nagasaki on August 9, 1945, killed over 200,000 people and demonstrated America's devastating new weapon. The horrors convinced Emperor Hirohito to intervene. Fact 75. Japan surrendered on August 15, 1945, after the atomic bombs and Soviet entry into the Pacific War. World War II was finally over, but it had killed an estimated 70 to 85 million people worldwide. Fact 76. World War II left Europe devastated, cities destroyed, economies collapsed, millions dead or homeless, and governments weak or non-existent. This power vacuum would be filled by two new superpowers, America and the Soviet Union. Fact 77. The USA and USSR emerged as superpowers with global reach, nuclear weapons, powerful militaries, and the ability to project power worldwide. All other nations, even Britain and France, were now secondary powers. Fact 78. Fundamental ideological differences divided the superpowers. America believed in capitalism, democracy, and individual freedoms. The Soviet Union believed in communism, one-party dictatorship, and state control of the economy. Fact 79. At the Yalta Conference in February 1945, Roosevelt, Churchill, and Stalin agreed to divide Germany into occupation zones and hold free elections in liberated Eastern Europe. These agreements quickly broke down. Fact 80. Stalin imposed communist governments in Poland, Hungary, Romania, Bulgaria, Czechoslovakia, and East Germany, breaking Yalta promises. He saw this as creating a defensive buffer zone. The West saw it as aggressive expansion. Fact 81. Winston Churchill declared in 1946 that an Iron Curtain had descended across Europe, dividing communist East from democratic West. The continent was split in two, and the Cold War had begun. Fact 82. Germany became the symbol of Cold War division. It was split into West Germany, which was democratic, capitalist, and allied with America, and East Germany, which was communist and controlled by the Soviet Union. Fact 83. The Berlin blockade of 1948 to 1949 was the first major Cold War crisis. Stalin blocked all land routes to West Berlin, trying to force Western powers out. America and Britain responded with the Berlin airlift, flying in supplies for nearly a year. Fact 84. American containment policy aimed to stop the spread of communism. This included political support for anti-communist governments, economic aid through the Marshall Plan, and military alliances like NATO, formed in 1949. Fact 85. Soviet responses to containment included the Cominform to coordinate communist parties, Comecon for economic cooperation between communist states, and the Warsaw Pact military alliance, formed in 1955 to counter NATO. Fact 86. Korea was divided at the 38th parallel after World War II, with Soviet forces occupying the north and American forces the south. This temporary division became permanent, as Kim Il-sung established a communist regime in the north, and Syngman Rhee an anti-communist government in the south. Fact 87. The emergence of Communist China in 1949. After Mao Zedong's victory in the Chinese Civil War dramatically expanded the communist bloc in Asia and alarmed the United States, which saw a loss of China. Fact 88. On June 25, 1950, North Korean forces invaded South Korea, hoping for quick victory before America could intervene. The United Nations, with the USSR boycotting the Security Council, authorized military action to defend South Korea. Fact 89. The Korean War saw dramatic shifts. North Korea nearly conquered the entire peninsula. Then UN forces under General MacArthur pushed north to the Chinese border. Then Chinese forces intervened massively, pushing UN forces back, until the war stabilized near the original border. Fact 90. The Korean Armistice Agreement of July 1953 ended fighting but not the war technically. Korea remained divided at the demilitarized zone near the 38th parallel. The Korean War demonstrated that Cold War conflicts could become hot wars with massive casualties. Over 2.5 million died. Fact 91. World War II's impact on Malaya was profound. Japanese occupation from 1942 to 1945 destroyed the myth of European invincibility. Chinese and Indians saw that Asian forces could defeat Western colonial powers. Fact 92. Anti-British resistance groups, particularly the Malayan People's Anti-Japanese Army, gained military experience and weapons during the war. After Japan's defeat, these groups would challenge British attempts to restore colonial rule. Fact 93. The Malayan Union Proposal of 1946 granted equal citizenship to all races and reduced sultans' powers. This provoked massive Malay opposition, because it threatened Malay political dominance and weakened traditional rulers. The proposal was withdrawn. Fact 94. The Federation of Malaya, established in 1948, restored sultans' positions and maintained Malay political privileges, but satisfied fewer Chinese and Indians. This compromise kept Malay support while preparing for eventual independence. Fact 95. The Malayan emergency from 1948 to 1960 was a communist insurgency led by the Malayan Communist Party. Britain fought this guerrilla war while simultaneously preparing Malaya for independence, showing they would only grant independence to an anti-communist government. Fact 96. Vietnam was divided in 1954 after the Geneva Accords into Communist North Vietnam under Ho Chi Minh and anti-communist South Vietnam under Ngo Dinh Diem. Elections to reunify Vietnam, promised in the Accords, were never held because Diem and America feared Ho Chi Minh would win. Fact 97. American involvement in Vietnam escalated gradually. The U.S. supported South Vietnam with money and advisors in the 1950s, sent combat troops in 1965, and at its peak had over 500,000 troops fighting in Vietnam. America saw Vietnam as crucial to stopping communist expansion in Asia. Fact 98. The Vietnam War ended in communist victory in 1975, when North Vietnamese forces captured Saigon. America had withdrawn troops in 1973 after the Paris Peace Accords, but South Vietnam collapsed without American support. Vietnam was reunified under communist rule. Fact 99. The decline and fall of the Soviet Union resulted from multiple factors. The economic inefficiency of the command economy, high military spending to match America, resistance movements in Eastern Europe, and failed reforms under Gorbachev. The Berlin Wall fell in 1989, and the USSR dissolved in 1991. Fact 100. The Cold War ended not with nuclear war, but with the peaceful collapse of the Soviet Union. America emerged as the sole superpower, and the bipolar world order that had defined international relations for 45 years came to an end. This marked the beginning of a new era in global politics. And those are the 100 most important facts you need to know for O-Level History 2026. These facts cover the essential knowledge for both papers: European colonization in Southeast Asia, the World Wars, the rise of authoritarian regimes, the Cold War, and decolonization. But remember, history isn't just about memorizing facts. It is about understanding cause and effect, making connections between events, and analyzing different perspectives. Use these facts as your foundation, but build on them by understanding why things happened and what their consequences were. For your exams, Practice applying these facts to essay questions and source-based questions. Understand the concepts of causation, consequence, change, continuity, and significance. Good luck with your studies. You've got this.